This is actually came out of our discussions. You know, you get together, and we met every 2 weeks for the last 3 years. And you can't help but know how many dogs people have, whose husband works too many hours. You get to know these folks on a personal level. And it was in one of these discussions that we talked about how this critical thinking wheel and these models actually influence our own lives. And that's what we're going to hear about today.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This segment is on applying or using the elements of reasoning in all elder knowledge of our personal lives. And Nancy will follow me with using the elements of reasoning in our professional lives. And those two things overlap. Can you hear me okay? Okay, do I need to? All right, I'll just speak up a little bit. I thought this would be an easier segment to design for you than it actually was, probably because what I want to accomplish in the next, say, 20, 25 minutes is that I tell you why I do this in my personal life, what I think is valuable about it, and then give you an exercise where you do it this morning, right here. And just see how that goes. Okay? So the wheel looks like this to me a lot. When it's your personal life, you're at the bottom of something looking up, or you're at the top of something looking down. And these elements of reasoning are all around you, and you don't really know which one to use first. And just like in our teaching lives with our students, we want to meet our students where they are in some respects. We want to meet them where they live. That's what I mean, where they live inside themselves with their lives and their problems. We know they don't know as much as we do, but they know something. So I want to start today, our personal lives are where we live. And I think the best way to learn to do something new for ourselves or for our students is to try it privately on something that relates to us, that matters to us. Many of you are not familiar with the Paul Elder model, and it's not like a religion, contrary to what it might seem like. It's not something we're trying to say everyone needs to use and do and adopt. I think it's a tool. I view the wheel as a tool, a vehicle, if you will, to improve the quality of our thinking. I think it can be applied to anything. And I accidentally started doing it in my personal life because I was having trouble doing it in the classroom. I was wondering, where do I start? Students, which element should I be focusing on for which assignment? And then I thought, screw it. Just try it yourself and see what happens. So, just to remind you, and this is in the little booklets, but in the book, by the way, I didn't write the book, but thanks, Dave. I wrote a couple of chapters in the book, the first one and the last one. And I think the best thing that I did was figure out how to get faculty in our department to join in this endeavor and each write a chapter on their area of expertise. So the book came together, and it's based on the elements, and Gerald Nosage's fundamental and powerful concepts, asking essential questions, and teaching the vocabulary of a content-heavy course, weaving it in with what's most important for them to leave with, and what questions they need to be asking about the discipline. So this colorful wheel is our adaptation. You might see versions of the wheel that have the elements in different places. It doesn't matter. So context is your life. Sometimes context would be your course or a program. So consider the context. Do you have any questions about the elements before we go on? people who have never used this before, just to... I like this wheel because it poses the questions that the element really gets at. So you can memorize elements, assumptions, implications, point of view, and not really know what that means, just like our students. And not really know what that means. Don't memorize the elements. Ask the question that the element poses. So I'm going to lay myself out here this morning. And I'm going to first share with you why I use it, and then talk a little bit about how. I use it as if I have this internal element of reasoning wheel inside me. It's not that. It's not that bad. I'm not that compulsive about it, but it activates now because it's habitual. It kind of activates. Her kids are grown out of the house. We all live within about a 3 or 4 mile radius of each other. And it takes all of us to care for my mom. The 3 sisters, anyway. The brother, he kicks in with whatever he can do, whenever he can, but he doesn't live here. My mom lives by herself in an apartment in an assisted, well, she's not an assisted living, actually. She's an independent living. She was, and she is a musician also, had a very active life as a conductor of opera. So, what kinds of decisions do you imagine we have to make involving my mom? She's not that healthy. She has some medical conditions that require pretty frequent checking of her status. She has congestive heart disease, so breathing is hard. She's had an aortic arch and bypass and some kind of heart repair thing about 10 years ago. But she is capable of living by herself right now, with support. So, any questions about the family? Anything else I work full-time. My nurse sister works full-time. My musician sister teaches part-time as an adjunct down at IU and teaches private cello lessons. So you get the picture? Okay. Anything else? Oh, yeah. She asked if I'm the oldest. Yes. So I'm the oldest, and actually that's the order. I'm the oldest. My brother came 15 months later. This sister came 5 years later, and the last sister came 7 years later, from me. Anything else you want to know? Yes?
Is your father still around?
My dad died he died in the year 2000.
And were your parents still together when?
This is going to get, okay, so you want some background. You want a little background?
Sorry.
I don't know if you want to do this.
You just say yes or no.
When this happens, people tell me you need to write the book because you'll make a lot of money. You'll make a lot more money on that book than you will doing anything else you do. Go ahead.
Does your mother have any adult grandchildren to help out at all?
I'll answer your question in a minute. There are 2 adult grandchildren living in this town. My 2 children live out on the East Coast, so. Any guess?
Does your mother drive?
She gave up driving about 3 years ago. Yes.
How is she adapting her aging?
She does not like aging. The question was how she adapting to her own aging. She hates it. That doesn't mean she's not adapting well, but those of you maybe in nursing or medical professions know. She would give anything to have her past life just continue to be active, and she does have a lot of musical connections still. So people come to her apartment. She actually still kind of works sometimes. People come and she coaches them on singing. because she's coached a lot of pretty decent opera singers. So they'll come from miles, and they'll just come and spend hours with her. And she might charge them $50, but she thinks, she's working. Yes.
Well, I also know your mom.
You're kidding.
And I
Who are you?
and one of the things that I know is that she finds comfort in a dog.
That's true. How did you know that?
Because I know your mom. And I also know that your mom has a sense of being, of youthfulness still within her. And so the aging process is hard for her. And there's a sense of strong-willedness about her. And that strong-willedness keeps her moving forward.
Wow, this is incredible for me to hear that, because I don't know how you know my mom, and I'll talk to you later. But that's true. She has a strong sense of, she likes to be around younger people. She wants to learn things new all the time. And she does have a little dog, her little poodle, who is just attached to her, so she gets a lot of comfort and,
And she's delightful.
Yeah, well, a lot of people. She is to a lot of people delightful. Okay. Yes, Cindy.
How long have you been, and your siblings, how long have you been doing this major support for her?
Well, she's in Indianapolis as of about 10 or so, 11 years ago, because we, the kids, decided Indianapolis would probably be a better place for her to live in her retirement. We moved her from Illinois so that we could take care of her, knowing that she would probably, she wasn't critically ill. We just knew that she would have high needs, and frankly, we didn't want to be traveling all the time to Illinois. So we've been doing it for 10 years. My nurse sister and I have been doing it together for the last 8 or 9 ourselves, until the other sister came, and now she's in the mix. Yes?
Are you comfortable with your medical care providers?
Yes.
Are you pleased with them?
Yes. And having a nurse in the family, so we have a sort of division of labor. And it relates to what we do best in our own lives and in our professions. So I don't touch her medicine. I don't do her pills. I know what she takes. But my sister nurse goes in once a week and puts them all in the things and teaches her about them. I am the one who has the most access to her emotionally. And so she turns to me for that. My musician sister can relate to her as a musician. Okay, so we could be here all day if we kept doing this. But you do have to have background information whenever you're going to solve a problem. So what's the issue right now with my mom? A few days ago, she was getting a manicure with the musician sister, which she's done before. And she was sitting on a chair that had wheels on it. Okay? We need wheels on these chairs, but they don't need wheels on chairs in the manicure place. Maybe the operators need them, but the clients, I'm not so sure. So my mom was finished with her manicure, and she pushed away to get up, and the chair kept going. And so she fell. And she fell really gracefully, and I think she fell pretty well, because she didn't break a hip or anything, even though she went down to the floor. But she did break her left hand, some bones in her hand, on her left hand. So that just happened a few days ago, and she went to the emergency room, and it was put in a splint. And today, my musician sister's taking her, actually right now. I can't do it, I'm here. Right? Could I cancel this? No. Heck no.
Yes, you could.
I have a sister who's available to do it, so she's taking her right now, and she'll probably have a cast. And okay, so here is the essential question, or the question at issue. Hold on, I'm going, wait a second. Going back, okay? I'm going there. What's the question at issue? That's where I'm starting. Question at issue is, until mom gets the cast off, who is going to help her? Or maybe how can we support her to do things she can't do for herself right now? And that includes getting dressed, bathed in the morning, getting undressed in the evening, and getting in bed. So imagine this is your family. That's the question. And you're going to have arguments about it with your siblings. But that's the question that we all agree on. So where would you go next? So do I have all the information I need to be able to determine? And you're exact, that's what we did. So what kind of information do I need?
What kind of help does your mother think she needs? What level of help is she willing to accept from her daughter?
Fantastic. Did you hear her?
I've done it before.
What kind of help does mom think she needs? We started there. And what kind of help is she willing to accept? So moms, you see how good this is to go there first? Because you can say to sisters, we need to figure this out first.